T minus 90 seconds. T minus 80 seconds. T minus 70 seconds. T minus 60 seconds. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 15 seconds.
Hello there, Outposters, and welcome to another wonderful live stream. And we have a special treat for you today. We have Cecil from Good Bad Flicks, along with regulars Sean, who calls himself literally me today and is bathed in blood for some reason, and Boba Phil. Well, welcome, Cecil, to the madness.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, anytime.
We're always glad to help out smaller channels.
It took me like a beat. Oh, right.
The joke is that you're the big channel, and we're the nobodies. And
you're not wrong, Sean. We are helping ourselves out here.
Yeah, thank you. We're always glad to be very self-serving.
Yes, I thank myself for helping you out.
Phil, I think you might be muted. I don't know what happened there, but nope. Yep, nothing.
Oh well. Anyway, moving on.
Okay. So in 5 seconds, he gets kicked out of the stream, and now
Phil, you're embarrassing me in front of Cecil. Stop it.
I swear to God, I didn't do this to him.
He was fine a minute ago.
It was. I don't know what he did.
I don't know. Who knows?
Nothing, Phil. It's his big moment. He's just blowing it.
So anyway,
well, that's okay. I'll tell you what, Phil. He'll drop off. He'll come back in. We'll add him back in. Let him fix his stuff. He's having some technical difficulties today, folks. So
he's English. We got to keep,
Yeah, it's something to do with I don't know. They can't even keep their prime minister going for a month. How can he get his mics going?
I don't know. So
let's go through some of the news this week. It's not too much. I thought. It turns out Kevin Spacey is completely innocent, apparently.
Oh, I knew it all along. I'm
sure that was what that video meant.
Apparently, we'll see him working here soon, right?
Yeah. We all knew that he didn't do that. The guy, come on. Oh,
I,
it's been a year since Alec Baldwin had his little oopsie.
Yeah, that's kind of how I figure. If Alec Baldwin isn't getting busted, I don't think Spacey's got much to worry about.
I know. Like, what's worse, you kill somebody or you molest your coworkers? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if you can get off for murder, what's a little,
Yeah, I think
inappropriate?
I think that was what it came down to. They're like, look, he killed somebody, but he's a really good actor.
Yeah. Well, speaking of inappropriate, I went and saw Black Adam this weekend. Now, I'll get into that in a second. But one of the previews is a movie they are doing detailing the grossness of Harvey Weinstein.
Oh,
and I'm watching this preview as they're going to make a movie. They have profited off of Weinstein and his nonsense forever. And now they're making a movie about how bad he was and also going to profit some more. Am I wrong here? I mean, is this like icky to like level 11, or is it just me?
Yeah, they like Harvey Weinstein has been an open secret forever. I mean,
right. They knew all about it.
They knew I am on the very fringes of the movie industry. I am a literal nobody in comparison to the actual people that make movies. And even I knew that, the stuff that he was getting away with. So the fact that I knew leads me to believe that they all knew. I mean, how many jokes about the casting couch and all that have been made at various Hollywood events?
Seth MacFarlane called him out in some awards ceremony like 5 or 7 years beforehand.
Yeah, and so basically what happened was he, Miramax and the Weinstein Company wasn't as big. Like, they had a few bad years, and it's just like Hollywood being kind of predatory in general was like, oh, now we can turn on them, because we can't use them anymore. And so, yeah, that was when the whole Me Too thing happened. And really, I mean, granted, in a way, I'm glad that it took a while, but I'm glad that he did get his comeuppance. But for one, it's not nearly bad enough for everything that he put a lot of people through. And on the same token, he's still profiting. It's like all those movies and everything. It's not like all of a sudden he's not making money. It's that he's just he's not. You're not really hearing about it as much anymore. So yeah, I'd be willing to bet that this Harvey Weinstein, is evil movie, whatever. He'll probably still make money off of that somehow. And
it was his ideal.
It was his idea.
He is the producer.
Yeah, he's like, look, I could tell you everything that happened. I was right there. But
technically, you're right, Phil. He is the producer. I just looking at this. I could just see the Hollywood guys like, yeah, we'll use him for a while. Then when he gets busted, we'll make a movie off of it. Yeah, okay, that's great. Yeah. I'm like, oh God, do you guys have any soul whatsoever? Any?
I was going to say, I can imagine when he was arrested, there was somebody sort of saying, "Better start a script on this."
I'm surprised it's taken him this long. I really want them, if they do this, I hope they go all in and they do the really weird, awful things that he did. There was a news personality who he had taken her out to dinner. And they went into a back room and he tried to come onto her and she was like, ew, get off of me. And because she was, she was in news, she wasn't trying to get it. She wasn't trying to be an actress. And he held her down and jerked off into a potted plant.
What?
Well, I can tell you from the trailer.
Wait a minute. So did he have a little tiny you'd put on your desk, or was it a palm tree in a corner? And he was like, "You stay there," and he goes over in the corner like the Blair Witch, and he's got his back turned. And
essentially they were at this restaurant, and they went into the back room, and there was the plant, there was a plant, in there, and he basically blocked her from leaving, and was doing that. So that she would have to be there was the girl who said that, I want you to watch me take a shower, like that kind of thing. Like he really kind of got off on people. You want to talk about things that are disgusting, like the theme of this episode.
Yeah.
That's a horror movie right there. Watching Harvey.
I'm just thinking though. Yeah. I'm just thinking though. There's going to be some agents in America sort of calling. Hi Scarlett. Yeah, listen, I've got a new movie for you. You get to play yourself. The experience that you had with Harvey. Do you want to go through it again?
Your therapist thinks this will work.
Yeah.
And this recreations, we're also. It's a simultaneous thing. We're doing it because we need to bust him in court. We need to reenact it. So might as well kill two birds with one stone here.
Technically, you're helping. You're technically helping other girls.
They show the New York Times as these crusading, not unbiased people that are going in there just trying to do what's right. I'm like going, this is pornography. This is leftist pornography. They have no shame whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like they covered for this stuff for forever. I mean, that lovable scamp. Meanwhile, he's jerking off into plants.
Well, this is what I saw.
Who will play the plant? I wonder.
Who's going to get his big break playing Harvey?
But will there be like a thing in the movie? It's like no real plants were harmed in the making of this movie. It was a fake. It was a fake.
We got it. We got it in Hobby Lobby. It's fine.
It would be even funnier to have it like as a background thing. So that scene happens quite early on in the film, and every time you go back to the plant, it's wilted a little bit more.
See, what they need to do is have like Robert Rodriguez come in and do like a modern exploitation version of it, where like Rose McGowan is like a Ms. 45 who's out there trying to get revenge against. Like I want to see that movie.
I would watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I would love to see that. We went to a couple of movies, and I've got another review to do, which another kind of a pleasant surprise as Black Adam was, but. The previews were movie after movie of white people bad, black people oppressed. There was an Emmett Till movie. There was something that looks like it was a fictional one, and then there was another one that was about I can't remember what it was. And then there was the Harvey Weinstein right next to it. And I'm looking at all this, and I'm realizing because all of entertainment is politics now, not because we want it to be, because they make it that way. And it's like, this is no longer important movies to chronicle our history. This is leftist porn. And it's kind of icky. I just find it all icky now. And I'm like going, okay.
So how,
I guess that's all you want.
So how was Black Adam?
Black Adam was, I was listening to Midnight's Edge, and he said what I thought was a perfect description. It was diverse, but it was not woke. And that means they had really interesting ideas, like setting it all in a foreign country of Kondak. I know it's a made-up country, but still, I mean, it's kind of, that's interesting to me. It's like an Egyptian, Persian kind of thing going on. And then you have, different people coming in. Then you have the JSA coming in going, you can't kill people, Black Adam. He's like, where were you when this Intergang came in and took over the entire country? What are you coming after me now, And then he's like at war. He's just tearing people apart and just brutally killing people.
Wait a minute, I'm not familiar with DC. Is he a bad guy?
He's an anti-hero.
Okay.
Well, he is
so
now.
He's not. Well, it also kind of varies on which, like Black Adam has kind of changed throughout the years, but I believe his current incarnation would fall mostly. I mean, he used to be
mostly anti-hero. Yes.
He used to be straight up villain, and now I think he's a little more anti-hero. But yeah.
Do you think
he has all the powers of Shazam? He's the evil Shazam. That's what he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think they'd ever make a Lobo movie? That's the only DC character I ever followed there.
Barrels have got to be scraped, man. It's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
I would say it's I'm actually surprised with after the success of Deadpool, if they would have played their cards right, they could have made a Lobo movie and it probably would have done very well. But DC they're like, I don't know. They need to. I know I may or may not be the the minority here, but I just want them to just give control back to Snyder and just let him course correct everything, because they haven't, like, as much as they bitch about how they're oh well, we're gonna do it right, and every time they go to do it right, they do it wrong.
Well, I'll tell you. I think that, look, Black Adam is not like tier 1 awesomeness. It's not going to change anything. But if this came out in 2008, 2010, this would be considered on par with a solid Phase 1 Marvel movie, in my opinion.
Wow.
It's perfectly reasonable setup. It's not, it has humor where it needs to. It doesn't try to preach any message or anything. This is what I understand is one of the first movies that's really coming out under the David Zaslav banner, so to speak, now that he's taken over Warner, DC, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's clearly that its aim was to simply, we want to entertain you. And I had fun during the movie. I don't think it was, like, if this had come out probably 10 years ago, I would have went, it was all right, But now that all this sludge that we've had to deal with, which I call Marvel Phase 4, when you come out with something like this, you go, that was a lot better, because I guess maybe because my expectations are so low now, and watching what they did with Batgirl, and I mean, just they shelved a $90 million movie. It's like, how bad could it have been that you're going to dump $90 million into a fire? But that's fine. If they go in this direction more and more, I feel like it's a good course correction, and they weren't trying to point fingers at the audience. They weren't trying to push any. And the other piece about it, I think that because Zaslav is now hated, and because that's the message that he's putting through, I honestly believe that's why it's getting such crap reviews from reviewers.
Yeah, because it's on like
the audience
41%,
scores.
isn't it?
Yeah, the audience score is 89.
Yeah.
So I'm beginning to think Rotten Tomatoes is an inverse scoring system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen it, Cecil? Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but the last movie I saw in the theater, I took my son to go see Sonic 2. And so I can't exactly take him to go see Black Adam yet, but
it's rough. I mean, there's a lot of pretty horrific deaths that somehow make the PG-13. I really wish it had been R-rated. I think we had a lot more fun with it. But I can't complain too much about it, and I hate that that's my
no matter
my
how
bar
much I
now.
want to, I can't.
Yeah,
it is sad. It's like movies have gotten so bad to the point, or I should say, more mainstream movies have gotten so bad to the point where it's like all you want to do is just enjoy a movie. Like, I don't want to be preached to. I just want to go and have a good time. Like, I mean, if there's a movie that, like, it's about the subject, then okay, yes, I'll understand. But yeah, in a superhero movie, you want to go see superheroes.
Yeah, I just see guys bashing into each other, and that's what I got. And I'm like, The Rock was clearly having a lot of fun, and he did very, very well in the part. Pierce Brosnan was amazing as Dr. Fate.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
And everybody else was average to above average. The other two JSA characters I could care less about, and they did a kind of a big emotional self-sacrifice moment that didn't really come off to me. It wasn't the big emotional moment they wanted it to be, but overall, I'm like going, hey, I was entertained for a couple hours, and I wasn't pissed off or rolling my eyes. And I mean, unfortunately, that's the bar that I'm at now. Thank you, Hollywood.
I was going to say, I watched Pearl this weekend, which is the other one from Ty West. Now, I wasn't impressed with X because I just, the whole premise of the two 80-year-old murderers just wasn't scary. And I went into this very much, I'll try it and see what it was like. But I was actually quite impressed. It was much better than X, and it was quite well done. I actually thought Mia Goth was fantastic in it. She played a real psychotic character, and it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. A nice, pleasant surprise. Yeah,
the other pleasant surprise I had, because this was my wife and I each get to pick a movie. So she picked Ticket to Paradise with Julia Roberts and George Clooney.
Oh boy.
I went in. Hey, you know what? I went in there expecting this is gonna be just, this is gonna be I gouge. It was all right. I mean, for what it was, I laughed a few times. It never got too weepy. It did what it was supposed to do, and Roberts and Clooney have good chemistry, and so the jokes were funny enough, and I had fun with it. And it wasn't perfect, but it was like, well, this is a surprise. Then I go to Rotten Tomatoes, same deal. 44%, 89% audience. I'm like, okay, what is going on here?
It's so weird.
But
I mean, I've never been to Rotten Tomatoes, like apart from doing some research on some stuff. But all the time I see how it's either complete and utter shill, but you can kind of judge how good a movie's going to be by just looking at the scores. When like when Rings of Power came out and it was like getting 90%, and I'm thinking, did it really?
Well, I like that now that it's all over, there's a couple of that have been rating it. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. Now it's all over. This wasn't very good, was it? It's like, where were you 3 episodes ago?
I was getting paid, idiot.
Yeah. Absolutely the truth.
I finally watched I got to watch Clerks 3.
What'd you think?
You know what? You were right about it. Everything yeah. It was not as funny as Clerks 2. And
no.
It had some problems, but I was not prepared for how emotional it was and how impactful the sort of ending was on that.
I'm really looking forward to it because Kevin was one of my big influences, and I still love him, but he is not the same guy after the heart attack.
Yeah.
Which I understand, when you have a massive life change like that, you're not, you are going to be changed. But I was really hoping that Clerks, something that I hold like very near and dear. I mean, that essentially the first 2 movies like were my life more or less. Like that was how me and my friends acted. That was how we talked. And so I really was hoping that he would be able to round it out because he had been talking about doing, Clerks 3 for a long time, but it's always evolved over the years. And so I was kind of hoping that
you'll be satisfied. I think you'll be satisfied. It's very, very bittersweet. It's very interesting to see a lot of those people come back from the first movie, mainly because you go like, wow, they're old. And then you like, I'm fucking old.
Yeah, I'm old.
Yeah.
I know.
But, it's like, oh, it's kind of sad. But
because I have a picture of me with Dante from like 20 years ago, and it's funny because it's like that. It's like I saw the trailer, and then I'm like, oh, look at how. Like
I know.
Like we're all old.
Yeah,
I know.
I think
Randall
Elias
looks like melted butter.
Oh,
yeah.
Elias is the one that aged the worst, and he was the youngest from
And
Clerks
he was
2.
the kid, yeah.
Yeah, he looks
my
like
God.
shit. He looks like as bad as any of us 3.
Oof.
The other day,
It's funny. It is funny, and it's got some really great moments.
In other words, they all age like normal humans instead of these Hollywood demons.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. They don't have personal trainers and people to cook their food for them and everything. And
yeah, I think you'll be pleased with it.
Okay.
I would not rate it like the gags and stuff in it. I would not. Clerks 2 is the peak for just pure comedy to me, and that's in that series, right?
Yeah,
the
Clerks
first
2
one,
was fantastic.
yeah, like the first one is kind of a comedy, but it's more of a a slice of life character study comedy. 2 is really good comedy. 3 is really the emotional payoff, I think, of the of following this franchise for.
Smith can't make shit these days, but he still knows how. He still understands the Clerks. There's no doubt, and I think it's what I put it up there. It's like, wow, this may be one of the strongest trilogies out there. Well, you think about how many trilogies just never stick the ending or screw it up, and I can't say they did that.
We can only judge how good the trilogy is when the 4th one comes out. So,
yeah, that's
Randall and the Crystal Skull. Oh God, he's in a refrigerator. Oh no.
No, you say about feeling old. I was talking to a lad at work the other day, and I didn't realize he's only 21. And we were talking about, and I said Ace Ventura, and he said, "What's that?" I said, "You never seen Ace Ventura?" And he goes, "No, I don't." No. He said, "No, I don't watch old films." It's 1994. Bloody hell!
Does it still? I have not. I bet I have not watched that since like '96. Does it still hold up? Does it still hold up?
I watched it, I think, recently, and really. Yeah, I still find it quite funny.
I think it's still. I think 1 and 2 are both still really funny.
Yeah,
like,
they're still good.
You know,
have you seen the third one?
And no Ace Ventura Jr.
Yeah. Oh my goodness me,
that was
atrocious.
What about the Mask? Has anybody watched the
Baby
Mask?
Geniuses level?
Oh, the Mask is still fantastic.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it. I liked it a lot at the time, but I don't. It's been so long. I liked looking at Cameron Diaz, especially in that red dress.
It's not as good as Dumb and Dumber, which is one of the best movies ever.
Okay.
Let's calm down.
I still put it in my top 25.
I can remove you from this stream just as easily as I brought you in, Phil.
Yeah, I know. I've got access now.
My wife loves Dumb and Dumber. She quotes it frequently, so I can't fault you on that one.
Now
I understand how she could be married to a man like you.
Oh, she is. I picked the perfect person to spend my life with, dude. She's awesome. Yeah, any other woman would have left years ago.
That makes so much sense now.
I can attest to that. I'm on marriage number 2.
Oh boy.
So, all right, I'm going
to dark turn.
Yes. just in my wallet. So let's go around the horn. I'm going to kind of grab each of you, just have you talk about. We'll just kind of go round and round and talk about your scariest movie moments. And you may have a couple, you may have a few. So you just pick one off of your list or whatever comes to mind, or whatever you just Googled just now on.
No,
your
I'm
browser,
looking at
like
my
I
list
did.
that I was asked to make, and I made.
Calm down.
And can we just point out my great Halloween costume? I've come as the most feared character in all cinema history, Kathleen Kennedy.
Kathleen Kennedy, yes.
Yeah.
And if you don't think she's scary, just remember the words that she's in charge of Indiana Jones 5.
Well, I appreciate you got the beard right. So Cecil, you're our special guest. Why don't you go ahead and go first?
Okay. Well, I was thinking about it, and I'm going to go back to the first scary movie moment that I can remember off of the top of my head. I actually have a list here, but I'm going to go to start. I'm going to go with the one that traumatized me when I was a child. And seeing it when I got older, it wasn't quite nearly as bad. But I remember when I was a kid, I was terrified. There's a black and white movie from the 50s called Earth versus the Flying Saucers. I saw this on Channel 48 in Philadelphia. They used to run like sci-fi movies on the weekend, the old black and whites. And I remember watching it. And it was actually later riffed on Mystery Science Theater to kind of show how not serious it is. But it's a good classic old fear of the unknown sci-fi film. But the thing that got me was there's a thing in the movie where if you're the aliens come down and they're telling us that they're going to take over the Earth and everything, and this general gets onto the spaceship and he looks up and there's this thing hanging from the ceiling and it shoots these rays down, and they did this old school thing where it turns like the side, his profile, and you could see his brain, and it was like brainwashing him. But to me, it was like, this thing is it's gonna pull out your brain. And so I, as however old I was like 6 years old or something, was
21.
Terrified. I was 25. And
it was last week.
I was terrified, and probably for about a year, I refused to look up because I was afraid that the aliens were gonna do something to my brain, and yeah, that one, it just terrified the hell out of me. But now going back, like I just watched it again, and I'm like, it's cool. It's actually like a good effect for that long ago. But
I like the fact of is Cecil all right? He just seems to walk around looking down all the time.
I'm like, can't look up. The aliens will broke my brain.
Man, it must have really sucked on 4th of July. Everybody's looking at the fireworks, and Cecil's like, "It's like, what's wrong, little buddy? You're not
it's like
getting
Bart
me."
Simpson in the bed. Can't sleep. Clown will eat me. Can't look up. Brain will eat me. That's a good one, though. I like that. So, Phil, you give us one.
The first, going back to like the first one that I can remember being scared at was the end of Close Encounters. And again, I was only, I don't know, under 10 when I first saw it. It was on TV, and I remember it was on TV because I remember hiding behind the sofa and and like sort of, and sort of going, "Are they gone? Are they gone now?" And my dad was like going, "Yeah, they're gone." And so I'd look, and then they weren't, and that would, He had a great sense of humor, my dad. But I mean, I just remember they were really creepy, and they had the like long arms and the big heads, and the way it was lit and everything else. I just remember that really did scare me as a kid. It was, it was like I say, proper traumatizing. I've never hidden behind the sofa before, but I remember that, and are they gone? Are they gone now? Yeah, they're fine. Oh no, they're not. They're still there.
That's funny because it was the taking of the kid scene that freaked me out. The ending was fine with me, but when they took the kid and the shit is just turning on in her house, and the mother's just frantic, and like the little screw comes up out of the vent, that kind
when she puts her hand up the chimney to shut the thing, and and all that.
That was pants crapping scary at that time.
That was fine.
6.
As an adult, the scariest thing about that movie is what a bitch that Dreyfus is married to.
Like, is that yours, Sean, or do you have a different one?
No, I got a different one.
Okay.
I mean, what kind of woman wouldn't let you take a trash can and make a giant mountain in the middle of the living room? Women just don't get it, man.
Excuse me, I think I've been contacted by aliens, and I'm just making this, all right?
Yes. It's all perfectly reasonable. Sean, give me yours.
Mine, I'm going to start off with one I've already mentioned before, is the Pinocchio transformation into a donkey scene from the Disney Pinocchio. That scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. They brought it through the theaters again, and shit, what was it, like 1979 or something? And watched it, and I remember being like, that is a Cronenberg level body horror. Now, even now, if I see that scene, it doesn't scare me, but I still get a very slight sense of anxiety from it. Just a little
memory
tingle.
scare.
Yeah,
Disney presents David Cronenberg's Pinocchio.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, now as an adult, but yeah, that was a freaky scene because the way it was done, it was just. Oh yeah,
you get the shadow on the wall, and he's like, and it looks painful, And the worst part is he watches his buddy first, so he knows what's coming.
Yeah.
And then it's pretty damn scary. All of those damn old Disney movies has got some scary moments in them like that.
Yeah, I tell you, it's like, I don't think I'm gonna smoke.
That's right. Hey kids, can I go to Pleasure Island? No.
Nope, no thank you.
All right, so since you guys started talking about what scared you when you were a kid, I started digging through my memory. The original Battlestar Galactica, which I didn't see in the theaters, the pilot movie that they released in theaters, but I saw it on TV as a kid. And there's a scene in there where they go to this bar. It's on some planet or something, and there's these women that are singing, but they have 2 mouths and 4 eyes. And like now I look at it, I go, it's because it's not the greatest makeup in the world. But for some reason, when I was 6 or 7, whatever I was, it was the most nightmare fuel I'd ever had. And I remember clearly later on that night having a dream where giant four-eyed people are coming after me or something. But it was, for some reason, that visual just hit me the wrong way at my age, and it scared the heck out of me. And it's one of those more embarrassing ones, because then you watch it as an adult and you go, that got under my skin, really? Okay. What the hell was wrong with me?
I haven't seen Battlestar Galactica for many years. I kind of want to watch it now just to see what it was like, because I don't remember that.
I wonder.
Somebody's coming behind you there.
I know.
I know there's no real way of being able to do this, but it would be really neat if there was a scientific way where they could figure out how like children perceive things, like, because we obviously perceive things differently when we're little, and then we see them as adults and we're not scared. But if there was a way to like see what a child actually sees, like you probably saw that, and it probably looked like the most realistic thing ever.
Oh, then, absolutely.
You know, and in your head you see it, and you know, and then you finally watch it again when you're older, and it's like, oh wow, this was not how I remember it at all. So yeah, I think that's really what it is. It's just that childhood perception of everything is new, so it's like you don't really, you know, you're seeing something and it's like, oh my god, it's so much worse than it really is.
I remember a friend of mine. I was going to say a friend of mine with his daughter when she was growing up, and she said to him one day, "Daddy, is the news real?" And of course, you kind of, is it real? You know, because it's like another television program, and when they're talking about like war,
it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you really ready for this conversation?
Time to go down the rabbit hole, son.
we got a comment submission. Rogue Thought says, when I was 7, I watched The Night Stalker on TV. Scared me so I didn't sleep that night. I believe it centered around the Seattle underground. It's very creepy. Yeah, I think he's thinking of the original movie there, where Kolchak is after, is it a vampire, I think, in the first one?
It's a vampire in the first one.
Yeah. So...
Okay.
And Leanne says, Close Encounters is a good one. Aliens terrify me. Yeah, I mean, that one, it was like, I had already seen Star Wars, and I love the cantina scene, and this was obviously a riff on that in Battlestar Galactica, but yet I was terrified. So I don't get it. We're all.
I'm now
terrified of.
I'm now terrified of Star Wars.
Well, yeah, whole different thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Going back to
I was just going to say, as a question, then, what in more modern times have you found scary as an older adult?
The presidency.
Nothing really. I don't think.
I do have one. Well, actually, I have a couple, but there's one more recent one that legitimately scared me because of how well it was done. From the movie Sinister. There's a scene in there. If you've ever seen the movie, if you haven't seen the movie, Ethan Hawke is watching these old film reels, and each one ends in some horrific death. And there's this one scene where you see this family and they're all happy and everything, and then it cuts to somebody working on a lawnmower, and it's just like, okay. And then the lawnmower is going around and it's mowing the lawn, and it's at night. And so it's like, okay, this is nothing. And then all of a sudden, what cuts into frame is the lawnmower running over the family. And it's like, so what they did was they actually, the director talked about this. They're like, we cut it to where the lawnmower scene was going on so long, you got bored. And then they put that in there at just the point where, like, you're ready to be like, all right, oh my god, So it was a fantastic. That's like a legitimate earned jump scare because it's so unexpected. So yeah, so it comes out and then you're like, oh my god, and they did it really well. And so that was one where it really got the blood pumping. And just you jumped, and it really showed the severity of everything, and it was fantastic. It was really, really well done, and it was an excellent movie, with the exception of the last like 2 seconds of the film where they did a jump scare, and it completely it still drives me nuts to this day. But I still love the movie.
So a jump scare, I'm gonna say, I it depends on the jump scare, obviously, but I think
If
that
it's
most
just
jump
done as
scares
a-
are. Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
They don't count because I mean it's the same thing as jumping out, saying "boo" at your sister or something. I mean that's not really scary or unsettling. You know, it's got to stay with you a little while longer.
It would scare me if my sister jumped out and scared me because she's dead.
Well,
That would be pretty freaking
say
scary.
we're crossing into unsettling, aren't we?
Yeah.
I
Yoda's
do.
right.
If you're asking about a modern movie that actually, I don't think it had too many jump scares in it, or if it did, they're not the ones that stand out at me. But just the movie itself, I found to be pretty unsettling, even in my old age. Was It Follows?
Yeah,
I thought
Yeah.
that one really did a good job. Just the idea of something invisible just coming after you, and you just try to stay ahead of it. And it has kind of a Terminator vibe to it almost. You know, it just keeps coming, but nobody else can see it, and you just have to make one mistake in your life, and that's
That
follows you
whole
for-
that whole movie is just anxiety and dread because
yeah. I
once
don't know
it
if
starts,
it's an allegory for like STDs or something like that, or AIDS.
It's
maybe.
funny because what I took away from that film is I noticed, I haven't seen it in ages now, but I noticed that the sort of the last kid, he didn't get attacked because he actually loved the girl. And oh no, so that's what I remember from it. And so
the ending's a little, I don't know.
it's
I'll
kind of
I'll have to watch it
It's
again.
just
'cause I don't
really
remember that.
unsettled. I just found it really unsettling, the whole idea. I thought that's pretty good if you could get crabby old me in my old age who doesn't get scared of nothing
think
no more.
one of the
film.
One of the interesting things about that movie is the heroine is not really that good of a person. Like she fucks dudes just to get them killed to give her a little bit more time too. Like she knows,
Well,
It's
that's
I'll take
kind of
what
That's what
I
happened to
whole-
her, though, right?
Yeah, well, that's
Well,
kind
yeah,
of
but-
the thing that they kind of willingly pass it on because they're afraid for their own life, and I mean that's what it's what happened to her, and then I mean she went and got gangbanged essentially, so that I mean it's implied, but to get more time, and it always goes back to her. The one thing too that's really impressive about the film. It's something that you don't really notice right away is how there's a lot of scenes where the camera is always slowly zooming. So it's like it's always focusing on her. It's always moving towards the victim. And it's really well done. I want to do a video on it at some point, but it's terrific. It's such a great movie. It really it came out for me at a time where I was kind of losing a little bit of faith in like movies because everything was so cookie cutter, and then I was like, all right, finally a really unique, good original horror film comes out.
timeless because there's nothing in it that dates it either. It feels like this weird modern, but yet in the 80s, there's no cell phones.
The director did that on purpose.
Yeah. The scariest part of that movie though is when the guy that she was hot for is the thing fucks him to death as his own mom. Dude,
That's
that is
horrible.
Oh, damn, I don't remember that.
I remember that. Yeah.
I would have blocked that out too if I could.
For me,
right.
I was just going to say modern day. For me, the one that scared me is, and I think we mentioned this the other day, but when I first watched Ringu, which is the original Japanese version of The Ring, and it was like 99, I think it was. It was like before 2000, and oddly enough, a friend of mine had actually lent it to me on VHS. And all I knew about the film is you watch this videotape and you get a phone call saying you're going to die in 7 days, and you die in 7 days. That's all I knew, nothing else. And when he lent me the video, if you look on our channel, it's actually got the introduction by there's a what's his name, a movie reviewer over here called Mark Commode. It was a complete and utter pretentious bell end. And he no, the reason why I say that is when it was first shown on Film 4, which was like a channel over here, he actually introduced it and gave away the ending and said, and at the ending, when Samara climbs out the TV, it will scare the shit out of you. And it was just
Spoilers.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it by now, but like I say, my mate said to me, don't watch the introduction, just watch the film. And my wife had gone to bed, I put the headphones on, turned all the lights out. And I mean, the first 80 minutes of the movie are creepy. They are really creepy and really well done. And there's it's what I like about it is there's like false build-ups to then what don't lead to a jump scare, but then he chucks another one in somewhere else and stuff, and it was really well done. But the last 10 minutes, when the whole thing with the TV, I was squirming in the sofa. It was so brilliantly done. It was absolutely fantastic. Like I say, I didn't sleep for a week after that. It was great. And I mean, I must have seen it when I was older.
I would have to pick for modern day a Japanese horror film, The Audition, and it's the scene where he calls her and she's talking to him on the phone, and you see this sack behind her while she's talking, or she's waiting on the call, and then it moves, and you realize there's something in there, and then she lets it out, and it's previous boyfriend all amputated and blinded, and she vomits into a dog bowl to feed him. And oh man, it's so intense. I'm sorry if I ruined it for you. Have you seen it, Cecil? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty intense. I mean, that scene's like the creep factor, just because at that point in the movie, you know she's a little weird, but you find out just how weird.
Yeah, there's a little weird, like in kinky things in bed, and then there's, getting your ex-boyfriend, amputating him and throwing up into his mouth to feed him.
Yeah. I can't wait to see that Venn diagram. Yeah. So
let me just throw this in real quick. The director, Takashi Miike, really experimental director, but he had done that movie as a way of experimenting with the audience, because he wanted to see if he could make a film that could redeem itself. So he made the beginning of the movie as boring as possible. He wanted to really make it just so that the audience got lulled into this feeling of like, oh God, and then really pull it back at the end and see if he could draw the audience back and horrify them. And he succeeded. Because,
well done,
yeah, because everybody is like, oh my God, that movie. I mean, that movie, Rob Zombie talks about that as one of, a movie that, he just adores and thinks is brilliant.
It really inspired the Munsters.
Yes, it helped to inspire the Munsters. Although, see, with that, he just made it boring through the whole movie.
But at least it was photographed poorly.
Yeah. One of my other picks for modern would have to be the ending of Bone Tomahawk, where one of the deputies is they pull him and just split him from crotch to the neck, and you get to see it all in loving detail. And then what's left of him is barbecued across the open. Fucking horrific scene, because what they're getting ready to do something to him, and based on the rest of the movie, it's going to be pretty graphic, but you are not prepared for just how friggin' over the top, and it looks so fucking real too.
It's one of those what I just call like holy shit moments where you sit there and go like, because you're just like, whoa, that's way beyond. You're not expecting it at all.
So going with scenes that I'm going to say are, let's call them repeatable, in the sense that it kind of gets me every time. Like, even though I've seen the movie a million times, for whatever reason, this particular scene just manages to grab me every time. And that would be the defibrillator scene in The Thing.
Oh, God, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one, it's like, I know it's coming. And I still go, wow,
maybe this is the version where they don't do it. No, maybe this is, they do. Yeah, they do.
It's like, this is going to be good. I know. I got it timed. Oh, shit, they cut me again. I mean, there's not many scenes you can say that in a movie that they can do that so well, that even though you've seen it and even though you know it's coming, it still grabs you. I can think of at least one scene in Jaws that does that, and that's when Ben Gardner floats out of the hole in the boat. But the one in Jaws, I mean, and what's so brilliant about that scene is that he made a mask of the actor frozen screaming, and then put it on a guy who had amputated arms, and so that's why it looks so good, because it's just a quick shot. He's holding up his mangled arms, which of course they put stuff on the stumps, and then put that actor's frozen mask on there, and then had a voiceover screaming it, and it's absolutely 100% authentic. which just sells it so well. So I love the thing beginning to end, but that scene is the one that I go, wow, why does it get me every time?
You kept saying Jaws, and I was like, what cut of Jaws have I been missing? Yeah, yeah. Great.
I just mentioned Gardner in the boat does that too, but it's just a quick scene.
The blood jumping out of the thing too, man. That's
a good one. Yeah,
that whole movie is, first of all, perfect. Second of all, it's just full of that.
Yeah, it's great. What do you think, Cecil? You got one like that, repeatable, get you every time?
Yes, I got one. Now the thing, just beginning to end, is brilliant, but the one I have for repeatable that terrifies me. There's two things that always get under my skin. Anytime a horror movie does something with bugs, and anytime a horror movie does something with eyeballs. And there is an old movie from late 70s, early 80s called Zombie. And there's a scene where there's a woman hiding from a zombie in a closet, and the zombie busts through the door, grabs her by the back of the head, and starts pulling her forward. And there's this splinter from the wood on the door, and it very slowly goes into her eye.
Yeah. Pulls her into
it. It is.
I actually only watched that for the first time the other day, and I was squirming. Yeah. I think I might have seen it before, but I didn't remember that at all. And like you say, you are just sat there like, wincing and trying to get away from it. Oh, it's awful.
Well, it's because you're like, they're not really going to do that. They're not really going to show it, but they show it. It's right up. It's right up there with the eyeball slice scene from They Color One Eye.
Yeah. Although with that one, they actually they used a corpse for They Color One Eye, so that was why that one looked so real, because it was real.
It was real.
But
that was a hell of an actress to go through that. She was great.
Yeah. Really. Like, I'm going to be blind. You're really dedicated to the role.
Excuse
me.
In your contract,
corpse. They both start with C.
Read the small print.
What about you, Phil?
This is a weird one. I mentioned The Haunting the other day, but the original Haunting, as opposed to the one that Matt said, the 1999 version, which was
the one that's a masterclass.
No, excuse me. Yeah, the 1963 one is a masterclass.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
When you say masterclass in my accent, it sounds good. When you say masterclass, it sounds stupid. But anyway, there's a scene
keep
there.
Telling yourself that.
There's a scene in there where she is, Eleanor is looking around the house, and she's getting some fresh air on a balcony, and she's looking up to where one of the previous tenants had killed themselves, and there's suddenly a shot where the camera zooms down on her. And I don't know how they did it. And they play this piece of music, and just, I know it's coming, but it just gives me goosebumps every time. It's not like not a particularly scary scene, but the way it's filmed and just that piece of music is just fantastic. And so for me, I'd go with that. Gets me every time.
John, how about you?
Oh, absolute, without even thinking about it. It's the castration scene from Cannibal Feroz. What? It's unbearable to me.
Say no more.
They string a guy up. The cannibal.
No, I mean it. Please say no more.
Okay.
Listen, Sean, we all enjoy hot dogs, so let's not ruin that.
Yeah. What are you doing to us here, man?
It looks so friggin' real. It is absolutely horrific.
It is, yeah. It's like you say, it looks so realistic.
It does.
Was just, even now, it was. Oh yeah, it's not good.
That's my eyeball and spider scene. That's my eyeball and spider line, like Cecil castration scene. The film just,
Oh, your big girl's blouse. Bit worried about getting your penis cut off.
What can I say?
Talk about things that scared us as a kid. I think of like the dumbest thing that scared me as a kid that I and this isn't even a movie, but the original Incredible Hulk show. Whenever the eyes turned and they played that it wasn't even music. It's just more of a one note. Chong. I go hide behind the couch. I couldn't handle the transformation. I don't know why. It was the fucking stupidest thing ever. When he's the Hulk, I was fine. When he was Banner, I was fine. It was the in-between thing that just freaked me out. And it's one of those things you look back, I go,
why?
It's the dumbest fucking thing to be scared of.
I bet you had a real trouble with the Sailor Moon transformation scenes, didn't you?
You know what? I can't even make a joke on that one because I've never seen Sailor Moon, so I got nothing.
Well, trust me, that was a very good joke.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah,
Yoda, did you get the same scared when you watched She-Hulk transform?
This is a whole different kind of scary with the She-Hulk. It's something I think we've kind of that horse is done dead and beaten. I think we need to leave it alone.
My pick would be the G.I. Joe movie from '86 or '87 when Cobra Commander gets exposed to the spores and this whole body horror. He just mutates and it's scary as shit. I don't know if you guys saw that or not.
Yeah.
But that was scary.
It's legit well done too.
It is, yeah. It's scary as shit. It was too much for kids, I think, at that time.
Sold a lot of toys, though.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that movie. I don't think it did.
I was traumatized when they killed Optimus Prime, Cecil. I gotta tell you.
Yes, you know what?
I was too. Yeah,
I was too. You know, but put a little hair on my chest when he.
That's right.
That's why.
Never mind. I was 17.
That's why now Cecil shoots his kid with a BB gun every week.
All right, son. Time for target practice. I don't want to do target practice.
Put some hair on your balls, son. Shut up.
I don't want hair on my balls. Stings.
I got one. I was an absolute chicken when I was a child. Seriously, like my sister was the one who actually toughened me up. She was the one who she got me to watch horror because she was a big horror movie fan. So she got me to watch horror movies because she saw that I was a giant chicken. And I even in one of my in one of my videos or whatever, I thanked her for, basically I have the career I have today because of the fact that
because a female bullied you.
I got bullied. Well, she was a lot older than me. My older sister is much older than me, and she bullied me into watching horror movies.
That makes it even better, knowing that she was like 52 and then you were like 6, and she was
well, she's not that old, but I mean, but still, she was.
All I know, Cecil, is you said my sister toughened me up, and I'm thinking, don't go Game of Thrones. Don't go Game of Thrones.
He said she made me into a man, and we all knew what that meant.
TV has ruined
us.
Oh,
wait.
Stepsister.
Stepsister for community guidelines purposes.
Yes.
So anyway, to kind of go on how big of a chicken I was, there was I haven't been able to find it, but there was a show that I watched when I was really little. It was either like a variety show or it was something like Hee Haw or whatever, and there was a guy in this gigantic oversized like puppet costume, and he looked like a big quarterback with a really big mouth. And there was somebody out there like singing a song about football or something, and the guy came over and he opened his mouth and he like ate the woman, and it like and her feet are dangling out of his mouth, and he's just like he's got this like blank expression on his face, and everybody's laughing because it's really dumb, but like I'm like,
but you're horrified.
I'm horrified. I'm like, that monster just ate the woman, So yeah,
I was going to say all of the audience are laughing to hide their fear.
Yeah. It was terrifying.
I know exactly because I've seen like where mascots do that to cheerleaders and like basketball games and stuff like that. The costume's so big they just both end up in the costume, but it's played for laughs. But at 6 years old, you're probably like, what was it? Robin Williams said it's like, I'm gonna take my son to Disney World. Yeah, 6-year-old taking him to Disney World. Mickey Mouse for a 6-year-old. Mickey Mouse to a 6-year-old is a 6-foot fucking rat. Hi, little bunny.
Exactly.
I was saying the other day, I think on the other stream, about how I used to be real, when I was a kid, I was really afraid of clowns and stuff like that. But my uncle John Gacy really cured me of that by he was very tender. He was a very tender man that made sure I had lots of affection, to while he wore this makeup and stuff.
He was also a painter.
He's a very talented artist. I don't know whatever happened to him. I haven't seen him in years though.
He's away on a farm.
He went to play with the other clowns.
Yeah.
A weird one for me, but I still think this is actually quite freaky, was Superman 3, which is like terrible.
Yes.
But yes. The end.
The
when
robot?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes that woman in, and it's the bit where it like puts this metal on her face and she closes her eyes, and when she opens them up, they're blank. And I remember as a kid going, right, this is terrifying. At any moment,
Yeah,
he could grab me and turn me into a robot. No, not having that. No.
It's such a lighthearted, almost a farce of a comedy, And then they just insert this abject horror just out of nowhere into it. You're just like, oh, what is happening?
I also remember
that's legit.
I was going to say, I also remember the great computer graphics of when they're trying to shoot Superman down with the rockets. And watching it again now, it's like, bloody hell. It's like there's a blue square, which is Superman, and a grey square, which is the missile. And then the grey square turns orange when it blows up. And
Well, if you want to talk about horror in a kid's movie, because God bless the 80s, but Return to Oz, man, that movie is nightmare fuel. You think that parents took their kids who would love the original Wizard of Oz from 1939.
Come on, kids,
and they get in there, and then this woman's got 8 million heads that are all screaming from cabinets, and she's holding up her own head. Ah! You're like, whoa! I want to see somebody dancing on a yellow brick road. This is not what I had in mind. And those dudes, the wheelers, where they had the wheels on their hands and on their feet, and they were all cackling and laughing like the Joker. Oh my God!
Wow. Yeah.
Have you seen it, Cecil?
Yeah, that brought back some repressed memories.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could help.
Yeah, I've done a very good job of forgetting that myself until just now. Thank you for that.
Yeah, God bless it. This was a children's movie rated PG. Come to think of it, so was Jaws.
Speaking of things meant to, set through in the 80s that scared the hell out of me was the damn TV movie The Day After, the nuclear Armageddon movie that we all sat through at the time.
Get out of my house.
That was scary.
See, I'm going to say we can beat that because in Britain we had the version which was it was the same animator who did the Snowman, and we had an animated version of two old couple who live sort of somewhere, and the radiation hits them and slowly kills them. But because it's like a cartoon, you're thinking, living in the countryside, and they're slowly dying and everything else, and at the end of it, they finally do die, and it's like, oh right, no, I'm going to need therapy now. Thanks for that.
And now we get to relive the 80s all over again via the Cold War's back, inflation's back.
This is not the member berries I was looking for.
I knew that we knew the 80s.
I remember nuclear radiation.
The 80s nostalgia's been hot lately, but I didn't really want all of it back.
Yeah.
I wanted the good, not everything.
Yeah.
I wonder though if we would get an updated day after if somebody would put something like that together to kind of because right now they're a little too rah-rah on nuclear war. We need people to be like, no, nuclear war is really, really, really scary.
I'm just mystified why the left is all for it. It's like, weren't you guys anti-war just like 10 minutes ago? What happened here?
Oh,
you know what?
You remember? Their mind because they change their underwear.
I just remember. You guys remember that one, Amazing Grace and Chuck about the boy who goes on strike from school? It was an anti-war movie, nuclear. You remember that one? Am I the only one that remembers that one?
No, I don't
I
remember
know
that
the
one.
name. I never actually saw
Yeah.
it.
So this boy decided, he watched a nuclear war propaganda piece. He's like, we should disarm, and I'm not going to school until we disarm. And then they're like, okay. And then it turns into this thing, and a basketball player named The Amazing Grace is his nickname, joins in and won't play basketball, and it turns into this whole thing. And flowers, and the whole world's like, we won't do this no more. And I think the basketball player dies in a sabotage plane wreck because it's the military industrial complex doesn't want their nuclear missile gig taken away. I don't know. Anyway. It
Sounds
was like
sounds like
Yeah,
you treated nuclear war as seriously as Superman 4.
yeah. It was pure propaganda. You know what I mean? It was that like
Well, I'll tell you.
It was that weird at the time, and I'm sure you guys remember, it was that weird mentality of like, if we just unilaterally disarm, the Russians will too.
Yeah.
The communists that's been trying to kill us for 50 years, they'll just say like, oh well, shucks.
Are you going to disarm your nuclear weapons as well? Yeah, we will do that.
And then like the episode of The Simpsons where Homer's putting the flowers into the guns, and then they shoot him, and he's got the flowers stuck in his head.
Yeah. I'll tell you something about the day after. It takes place in Kansas City and Lawrence. I live here. I'm familiar with a lot of those when they did on location shots. You
just doxed yourself, bro.
Yeah, we're 7,000 square miles. Come and find me. But
I'll just have to listen to the guy screaming every time a new Star Wars movie comes out. It won't be that hard.
But yeah, I mean, it really hit home, and I remember them. We were all talking about it in junior high because it was like, oh, you see Lawrence, you see the the Liberty Memorial and all that, and then they nuked everything. And nuked Kansas City. We live here, so it was a little harder, more traumatizing for me than I think maybe the average person, just because I knew all these places.
Oh, of course, you were traumatized more than anybody else during the Cold War.
No, all of us
just
in that
because your
city
dad died.
Did any of you guys get a propaganda film in your school where they had the idea was that Russia had taken over the United States and a bunch of uniformed Ruskies come in to start teaching class to the kids, and by like there's this one kid who's like kind of a holdout, but they start telling them all the wonderful things about communism, and by the end of it they get all the kids to cut up the American flag and throw it out the window. I'm like, I don't know if that really did anything. I'm kind of shocked that they showed that kind of thing in school when I look back on it now.
All I remember is watching these very semi-gruesome don't drink, and here's what'll happen to you if you drink before prom night when we were seniors, and blood runs red from a tree. Blood runs red on the highway, that kind of thing.
I'm just
okay.
Say that
yeah, driver's education film, scariest things they ever showed us.
Well, not to say as a British person I outdo you, but Threads.
We don't care.
No. It was made in 1984, and it was set in Sheffield, which is like Middle England. And a nuclear war happened, but only a few bombs landed in like one in London, I think it was.
It's because it's not worth. There's nothing in England worth bombing. Who cares?
Yeah,
it's a complete non-threat to the rest of the world. Who cares?
We are at the moment, but with it, the difference between this one is this actually goes off to about like 15, 16 years later after the actual nuclear war. And because I watched it again last year, because funny enough, I watched like The Day After Tomorrow and all these other ones, and I was thinking, let's have a little fest of nuclear war propaganda movies just to cheer myself up. But Threads at the end of it, basically, one of the women is pregnant when the war goes off, and she has the baby. Then the baby grows up in this England where there's nothing growing and food is scarce and people are fighting each other and stuff. And she gets to about 16. She can't speak any English. She sounds like Matt. Well, he's not here, so it don't matter. But I mean, she gets raped. And then she gets pregnant, and the final shot of the movie is she's on this bed, and this doctor's telling her to push and stuff, and he basically pulls out this stillborn baby and gives it to her, and she's screaming, and it just cuts, and the end credits roll, and it was just like you can't imagine a worse kind of ending to anything. It was horrific. It still is really, really bad.
Yeah,
the baby.
Threads is a really tough sit.
Yeah,
Is it as bad as the ending birth scene in V, the TV series where she gives birth to the
I was
lizard?
thinking that.
yeah,
Oh,
no, that is a
God,
good
yeah.
one though. That is a belter.
I
Yeah.
was terrified. There's a funny story to go along with that. If to kind of make funny, because one of the prop guys, I don't remember the exact 100% story, but essentially one of the prop guys that worked on V also worked on ER. And so they were doing a pregnancy, a delivery in ER, and one of the prop guys for the baby, he put in the V alien baby. So all the actors and everything, they're there, expecting a prop alien, prop human baby, and here comes this, and they're all so
That's pretty
I tell
funny.
you,
ER's got a
V
sci-fi twist.
yeah.
yeah.
The V baby, I remember this was one, again, we're all talking about in school the next day, but the V baby, everybody was laughing their asses off about the lizard baby, but the human baby that stuck out its forked tongue, that actually was a little unsettling.
Yeah, that was a little. What about the maggot baby from The Fly? That was pretty.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
a pretty
that was
good one
good.
too.
That was a good one, but I mean, with everything else that went on that movie, that was just one of the many. Like,
yeah.
oh,
that's right,
okay, yeah, the maggot baby. He's ripping his fingernails off. He's vomiting on the dude's arm.
Which is then melting.
That still works
and-
to this day. Still unsettling to this day. As far
See,
as body
I'm
horror
going to say,
goes.
I'm going to say the original Fly again was one of those ones that I saw far too young. My dad had it on 8mm, and the end of that, where the fly has got the human head and the human arm, and it's trapped
Are you
in
talking
the
about the one from the
spider's web.
50s?
Yeah,
the
the
original
original.
Yeah.
And it's like going, save me,
Yeah,
and the spider attacks, and it's just, that was really scary again as a kid.
he
I don't know
kills
what
it.
my dad was trying to do to me.
He kills
he
it.
throws
He-
he throws the rock on it.
Yeah,
That's what he put Mercy Kill. Cecil, didn't you do a video on the Fly, the Cronenberg Fly sequel?
I
Like a
did.
Pretty in I thought
I
so.
did do the one. I actually want to do one kind of covering all of them, like the original, the remake, and then the sequel, because there's all they like. I mean, I kind of goofed on the second one, but the second one is legit good. It's it was back before I really started doing the exploring videos. But I think the second one, I mean, because it was Chris Walas and they were doing a lot. I mean, they had some. The one dude gets his face, he peels his face off. Like there's some really horrific like violence in that one.
Yeah.
And not on the level of the first one, but still or the first remake. And they're talking about remaking it again, and it's like, no, you'll never be able to do what Cronenberg did. It's not, just don't waste your time.
Oh, I'm sure CG could go to the level of realism that we
Yeah.
before.
No, but
obviously.
they just, you'll never, like I say, it's with some movies when they go to remake it and you just think, no, just no, just no, don't
The
do it
Thing
at all.
2011, anybody?
Yeah.
Well, that I did a whole thing on that. That was a student, like they did the entire movie practical, and then there was a producer who came in that wanted it to be CG, and they only had, I think, like a few months, and it just, that whole movie turned into such a disaster.
Would you think it would have been a better, like, how much better of a movie would it have been had it, because the story, there's some weird stuff about
but they changed the story too.
yeah.
like-
Did they?
Yeah, the whole ending is completely different. There was, I mean, the thing about the there was the pilot. They get on the ship and they find the pilot alien who was the one, who was the last remaining survivor of the ship, and how it kind of explained that the thing was not the alien. The thing was actually like this pilot was capturing different aliens from different planets, and the thing was one of them that they captured, that escaped, that assimilated the crew. And I mean, there's this whole, I mean, a really awesome story that they completely removed and drastically changed it.
That's
so
a great idea, because I always thought it was bizarre that this creature that didn't seem to have any or very little intelligence, more like a rat, could make spaceships. So I like that idea.
Well, if you could imitate any life form, eventually you would imitate some highly advanced race and know how to because
Yeah.
it obviously
Yeah.
takes in all their knowledge and all their memories. So not really. I mean, think how smart it would be. In fact, it would make more sense what Cecil's saying, because if it was the original creature that invented the the space travel, it would not have give itself away so easily. Maybe on the, I don't know. That's going a little too. I don't know. Yeah, it's.
Well,
I don't want to pick at it now. I don't want to ruin myself
Before-
on the movie.
Before we, don't logic yourself into oblivion.
Yeah.
Let's take this one from the chat here, because I thought this was a good one. The dog with the human head in the 70s invasion of the polysaturates. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's legit.
Yeah, that was
That
a
is
good one.
really freaky. And just the whole Donald Sutherland at the end is just brilliant. It's fantastic.
I guess they put an actual head or mask on that dog somehow. I'd heard about it. It was like
It was CG.
you figured it was like it was CG.
Yeah, in 1971.
Well, I thought it would be like some sort of stop motion or some sort of optical effect or something, because it's really well done.
Mm-hmm.
It's just almost too well done. I guess it's just a big puppet head on a dog. They managed to make it look that good.
A Donald Sutherland movie makes my list of scariest movies. The end of Don't Look Now, where the little deformed dwarf in the red jacket that he thinks is his dead daughter kills him at the end of it. That's pretty fucking crazy, man.
I'm gonna
By the
say,
way,
I've never seen that one.
You've never seen that? Cecil, you've seen that, actually.
no, oh yeah, no, I'm thinking of the one oh god, what's the one where he turns around and you see his penis? Like that terrified me.
Sleep.
It sounds like a home movie, Cecil.
That's from the private
I think you
collection.
should.
That's yeah. Oh, he said that. He emailed me that 10 years ago.
Oh, cat's out of the bag now.
He was. I don't know where to go with that.
Speaking
No, I
of
know there's a movie. I totally got. I cannot remember.
speaking of surprise penises, sleepaway camp.
Yeah.
Oh
go ahead.
yeah. Well, no, that one was where they got the kid from a local college. They made the
Got
Force
him.
of Rose mask.
Got him
And
drunk, and
They got him, and he got really really nervous, and so they just got him really really drunk, and he just did it. And to this day, like I think recently, like the kid who did it came out and was like, yeah, I was the kid, but for years he was just like, I don't want anybody knowing I was the penis, you know. So
How ironic it is that a movie producer would go up to a kid and say, "Hey kid, do you want to make $50?"
here's some
Sure, why not?
booze. Here, you wanna make- Here's
I
some-
like the idea though that they got him so schnockered. You know, it's like, okay, he's gonna come out, he's gonna detail his whole plan, and he's so drunk he just comes out and goes,
Just
is that all
coming
we
back
could do?
to-
That was the best take, man. That was the best we could do.
Coming
That's
back
prob-
to just very quickly. Oh, go on. No, go on, Cecil.
no,
Yeah,
I
so-
don't. have
you were going to say something about a movie you couldn't remember the name of, but you were going to
yeah,
give
go on.
some.
Oh no, I was just saying the what's his name? The Donald Sutherland penis thing. There's a movie out there where he's like standing there and he like turns around and he's not wearing pants. And
Yeah, that's the one with the very famous scene that was like argued over. Was that simulated sex or was that real sex? It was very controversial at the time. Was it not? It's Don't Look Now. It's the same movie.
was it the same?
It's the same movie. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. A lot of times with actors with like that, especially like the older things, they kind of have a tendency to blend together. But
They do.
yeah, I just remember that being like, all right, I did, you know. I mean, kind of like it's always a surprise. Like I don't care, you know, male nudity, but like when it is done for like shock value, like Wild Things,
Cannibal Throw.
you know, sleepaway camp, Wild Things, where it's just like, oh, somebody's in the shower, and, oh, there's Kevin Bacon's gigantic penis, you know. All right, you know, no wonder he's been happily married for all this time.
Lucky old Cara Cedric.
It's because they avoid doing it so much that when they do it, it's you know.
It's weird,
It's
yeah.
know what I
either
mean?
shocks or laughs. Like in that case,
Yeah.
it's done for
Yeah.
shock
Forgetting
value.
Sarah Marshall.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Yeah.
gonna go right to that where he's all like kind of deflated and it's just like, you know, it's
Or
yeah.
the Hangover with the Asian dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
fun.
I was just going to come
Never-
back to
Never played for sexy. You notice that?
Yeah.
Men
No.
nudity never played for sexy.
No. Well,
Nobody-
that'll
no.
get.
It's
That'll get
always
an immediate.
You've
that'll
obviously
get-
never seen Bros.
Yeah, for all we know.
I was just-
Actually, I think doesn't the movie open? Well, I saw there was some comedian who saw it who said that like it opened with a dude who was like blowing a guy and like
God.
he had like onion balls, and I'm just like, all right, yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna watch this.
I don't see where this disproves my comment.
Yeah.
It's not sexy still.
Yeah.
I was just going to come back to a childhood movie that traumatized me. In one of the scenes,
Speaking of
again,
gay
really-
sex movies,
Oh no! Speaking of very camp movies, it's actually Flash Gordon. But the scene that got me was when he's
Speaking of
on
gay
the
sex
hand.
balloon, the putting the hand inside the tree
Yeah.
stump with that alien
Oh,
thing
yeah.
inside
Yeah,
it.
that
That
scared
was
me too, man.
really freaky, man. That was
Yeah.
oh man. He
Yeah,
stopped me
that
putting
was
my
pretty-
hand into tree stumps.
I was ripping off the visor, and he just had wires come out of his eyeballs.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
that
got
got
me.
well, yeah.
That didn't bother
yes.
me as much as the hand in the tree stump test thing.
Head tree
That
stump
was-
has got tension out the
Yeah.
ass,
Yeah.
but
I think it's because this is just again really sort of stupid random thought, but one of the guys there was called Peter Duncan, I think it was, and there was a kids show called Blue Peter, which has been going for years, and it's kind of like a kids educational show, and like everybody used to watch it back in the day. And he was one of the presenters, and I don't know whether how he got on the film and stuff, and he was quite good. But I just remember that scene was just that freaked me out. I used to draw that alien just to scare myself or some shit. I don't know why.
What?
Why not?
Yeah, no, I used to draw that. I used to draw Alien from Alien and all sorts of stuff.
I used to watch Traces of Death when I was 3 just to scare myself.
I feel like we're getting into some sort of weird masturbation territory.
It's kind of like keep your kinks to yourself, Phil.
Can I just mention, Yoda? I didn't know if you were going to go anywhere with this, but I mean, I was just thinking about like proper like holy shit moments, as opposed to sort of like scary, but one that again in a modern day film, one that had my hands over my mouth for like a good few minutes, was Hereditary, when he's driving her home when she's having a asthma attack.
Oh yeah,
Man alive! It's the fact that it happens and you go like, and he just sort of goes home and doesn't know what to do and just parks the car and goes to bed, hoping it'll all go away in the morning.
where's your sister? I think she's still in the car. Okay. Oh my god.
Well, at least some of her.
But again,
I
you just
actually
out of the blue.
laughed. I laughed at that because
I did
not
too.
like it was a like uncomfortable laugh because like
Yeah.
you said he went home, went to bed, and just is like, all right, I hope everything goes away. And then I'm waiting, and then the mother goes out and just and I just started laughing at just like, oh my god, she just goes out and just sees her
Just how
decapitated
horrendous
daughter.
it was. It was
And then they
just-
show the head with ants crawling all over it. It's just like, oh.
And the weirdest part was when the mom found her and is like, I thought you were taller.
All right, I got a
that
couple
was-
here.
that was a belter.
that was a big.
Was a good-
I didn't care for the movie, but that was a really good holy shit moment.
Yeah.
It really was, because you're not expecting that.
No, like you think, oh grief, she's having an asthma attack. This is a really serious situation. Nope, head off. That's
Yeah,
worse.
that's so much worse.
Do you still need your inhaler?
The good news was her asthma problem was cured.
Yeah, my sinuses are so good now.
Sorry.
Okay, I got a couple here from again another PG movie, Poltergeist, the clown, the
yeah.
clown doll, and then the dude, like one
Peeling
of the
his
scientists,
face off.
going and peeling his whole face off. The face off scene doesn't quite hold up these days. You can kind of tell, but it still was, at a very young age, was legit shocking. And the clown doll does still hold up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the more subtle things in that are freaky, like the the chair in the chair in the kitchen is moved, and the mother's like, don't move the chair, and then the girl's like, no, the people do it, and they pan away, and then they pan back, and all the chairs are up on the table.
Well done. Yeah.
It's so well done, and that's just like, ah, like
I love that
so
kind of
freaky.
thing. Let me interrupt you or I'll forget. I love that sort of thing, and a good example of, to me, that sort of thing is the camera going away and then back is, and I know I'm going to get some groans on this probably, but the first Jeepers Creepers movie where they drive by the creeper and he's throwing those bodies down that drain, and the camera moves back and forth, and as the car drives by, you see him like rotating to follow him without actually moving his legs or anything as it cuts between. You know the scene I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, that is creepy as shit in that movie. And that whole scene where he goes down into that, the body cathedral is pretty damn creepy. I thought. And then the movie kind of turns into like an action, but that first half of the movie is well done, I think.
First half is great. Yeah, I agree.
It's such a shame that like the director is such a piece of, but because it's like, I think it would be, I would have more appreciation for it if it wasn't for that, like, because it's hard to be like that's one of those instances where it's really hard to divorce the creator from his creation.
I
hate
know, but
that.
it
is a well done scene. It's a shame. It's a good movie that is marred by a complete ridiculous garbage person that directed it.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that.
But anyway,
I love that sort of, like you said, the camera pans away and then back, and then there's a good scene. Speaking of that, in The Thing, where we see the camera pan into Childs and he's waiting there and he falls asleep, and then Matt McCready wakes him up, and then later we get the same shot, but then all the stuff is rearranged and obviously something has come through. And if you notice it, like the jackets and stuff are moved around because he's. A lot of little things that makes you obvious that Childs is. Where do you stand on that, by the way, Cecil? Childs is the thing at the end.
Well, I go by what John Carpenter had said. He's like you'll notice that one of them, like they're out in the middle, of the Arctic. It's freezing, and only one of them you can see their breath.
I've always said that the beginning of the movie foreshadows that Childs, because Mac throws his drink into that chess computer because he's playing chess, and he defeats it. He's like, yeah, you cheating bitch. And at the end of the movie, he gives it away. Childs gives it away because Mac offers him that same drink, and he doesn't wipe it off or anything. He just takes a swig, and then Mac laughs, and he, checkmate. He's got to be you know what I mean? And I think that foreshadows that at the end.
I was always on the side of, I like it that it's ambiguous, that you really don't know. I think that's what makes it good, is that there's not a definitive answer and we can argue about it. That's what I think is cool.
But Carpenter's pretty much said in many interviews, like he's like, one of them's the thing.
What does he know about it?
Ridley Scott has taught us that sometimes they don't understand their own shit.
That's true. No, I don't want to take away anybody's enjoyment of the ambiguous ending, but there is an answer, and it's very,
I think my favorite funny moment in that movie is when, I forget Wilford Brimley's character, when they've locked him in whatever they've locked him in, and then they come back out and he's like, I want to come in. And there's a noose hanging.
He's like, I'm okay. Whatever.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm
the
perfect.
noose is right there.
I'm completely not thinking about killing myself.
I do like, and this is going into real life, like years ago, there was like people in the Arctic, they found something, and they think it was of alien nature. And Wilford Brimley on Twitter was like, I just want to warn you people, you don't want to mess with that thing. I was like, oh, that's Wilford Brimley comes out and does a friggin' tweet.
That was great. I remember that.
Well, they'll give you diabetes.
Yeah.
How about
the original thing from that it's still pretty good. It's real good. It's got some jump scares in it. Yeah, it does.
When they open the door and James Arness is
right there,
it's whoa, it's really good. Yeah, it is a very, very good old paranoia film. Just so very well done. And I saw that some I don't know who, but it got colorized. And it's like, why would you colorize that film? Like, it's so it doesn't, like, not everything needs to be in color. Like,
what?
Black and white and that worked so well.
I think it was actually In Search of Darkness, just to sort of draw ourselves back to that. But I mean, I think it was Joe Dante who was saying about the remake of Psycho and how John de Bont, was it? No, not John de Bont. It was Gus Van Sant had remade it in color. And it was kind of, Joe Dante was going, why remake it in color? If people are too stupid to watch it, the original in black and white, fuck them. Because it's just like, if you're not going to watch that original because it's black and white, you're an idiot. You don't deserve Psycho at the end of the day.
Well,
so.
Van Sant's logic was he reshot it shot for shot, the exact same script, the exact same like everything he did. The only thing was he added in one scene, and that was the scene of Norman jerking off. But everything else was shot for shot. And his logic was he had done so well with his previous movie. The studio basically threw money at him. They said, do whatever you want. So he did it because he wanted to see if he could recapture the magic of another like classic film. He's like, if we did a movie exactly the same, will it work? And
answer no.
Exactly. So that was the thing. So I mean, I don't like it, but I think it's kind of interesting because he had carte blanche to do whatever he wanted, and he did an experiment, and he proved no, you can't. So that right there should have ended remakes, because it's like, you're not gonna, you can't, so don't try.
But remakes, that's like a copy, like a photocopy almost, right? I mean, it really, it's a copy of a copy. Whereas a remake, like The Thing is a remake, which in my mind is much better than the original.
That was back when they tried, though. Now, like, that was when they made, like, because it is a different film. It is basically taking the idea, but now they just copy. Like, now they don't even try to do stuff different. They're just like, well, this
agreed,
and they just do the same thing again, and then they wonder why it doesn't do well.
So the first one made money. Why is this one not making money?
A pretty good remake, to me, a pretty good remake is, and it's not that new, but it's pretty new, is the sort of remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night, and I think it's just called Is it just called Deadly Night?
No, it's just Silent Night.
Silent Night, yeah, and it's pretty, it's pretty good. It's not a rehab. Yeah,
it's good. I mean, well, it's got Santa Claus with a flamethrower.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm stalled.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun, and you got Malcolm McDowell just going like really nuts in it. It's really. I do want to do a video on it at some point. I think it's very underappreciated.
And we get to see the killer Santa Claus shoving a porn actress into a wood chipper feet first.
Yes. It's a fun movie. It really is. It's well done.
It is a lot of fun.
Definitely one for the kids.
It is it's. I always pair it with Rare Exports for around Christmas time.
That's a belter. Yeah, that's a good one.
Speaking of somewhat similarly themed, I gotta admit, and this is just for the trailer, it could end up being dog shit, but that Violent Night looks all kinds of fun. Santa Claus in a Die Hard movie, and it's on David Harbour. Did you guys see the trailer for it?
Yeah, I see the trailer for it.
I think it looks. I was laughing throughout that entire trailer. I said, "Okay, I gotta see this. This is so bonkers stupid. It's got to be awesome."
I just can't. I just hate him. I don't know.
I know.
Harbour. Yeah.
I don't want.
He's hard to like,
it.
but
yeah.
I want to grab another scene here that I think just deserves mention. I don't know that the movie is okay, but the nurse in Exorcist 3 or the nun grabbing the nurse, that's got to be one of the best scares.
That was kind of spoiled for me because I'd never seen Exorcist 3 before, and I watched it again only recently, and kind of people had kind of spoiled it, so I was waiting for it. And when it kind of happened, I was kind of, it was all right. And I wish I'd just gone into it not knowing anything, because I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
You know who likes that? You know who really liked that movie? Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer was, watched.
Yeah. Why? I didn't get to the end of the series. What happened to him? Is he all right? He went to live on a farm.
He's living with my Uncle John.
In heaven. He's gone to heaven.
Sure.
I was just thinking about, this is sort of going beyond the pale now. I like jump scares and I like horror movies because, they do make you they freak you out a bit. But one film which I don't think I ever want to watch again, and I've said this several times, I still don't think you've seen it, but Eden Lake, with an early Michael Fassbender movie. The ending of that was horrific. It was horrific. And it's a film I never want to, I'd rather sit down and watch Serbian movie again than watch the end of that. That was hard going.
I've never seen it, but it's on my list. So I do it. But it's rough. The ending's rough. Yeah.
It's one of those films where I'm going to say like Yoda here, because I've kind of known places where they go and camp, in the British sort of countryside. I've known places like this, and I've seen teenage youth like that. It hit me more, but just the ending of it, it's a film that kicks you repeatedly in the head and just doesn't let up even at the end. But it's quite fun. Put it on to scare the kids straight.
I'll pick an esoteric one that probably doesn't appear on many people's lists, but I think has kind of grown a cult following as far as legitimately scary, or a lot of scary imagery and stuff in there, is Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Sam Neill.
Dude, come on. Everybody would put that on a list.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
I thought she was having a go.
I think only in the last few years, though. When it first came out, it didn't do that well.
Oh, it tanked.
It tanked. Yeah, it was a bomb at the time. I don't know why. I mean, the director certainly made some masterclass movies since then, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know why. Because I had a friend of mine who saw it at the time and was like, "Dude, it was the dumbest movie I ever saw." And then on the flip side, years later,
but did you stop being friends with this person? That's
actually I did, but much later. But then my brother-in-law saw it. Way like I saw it and loved it, but then way later. He was like, that I found out that was a movie that like terrified him, that he almost walked out of the theater because he was so scared.
But your sister was there luckily to bully you.
Yes, no, you stay in there. But it's a great movie. It's so well done. The only downside is that some of the CG is very dated, but overall the themes and everything are terrifying. And I'm really sad because they've been trying for so long to find the cut footage from the hell dimension, and it's just they have not had any luck. And I know they really want to do they basically got the okay to do a restoration of like the full original version of the film, but because really the only thing that's different is some of the hell footage that got cut, but they just have not been able to find it, and it's a bummer. But I'm with you, man. I think it's gotten a lot more recognized over, I'd say, the past 10 years or so, and like so much so that Nostalgia Critic did a video on it a while ago, and people were like, "Hey, man, I love your stuff, but like." No, like you don't understand this movie if you're making fun of it. Like, it is a terrifying movie.
But my question is, people still watch that guy?
He's honestly, he's probably more popular now than he's ever been. Like,
Are you kidding? I'd never hear anything. That's the first time I've even heard that name.
He's seriously, he gets millions of views. I have no qualms with Doug. Doug is fine, but yeah, I mean, I thought he quit. I never see him pop up anymore. Did he do?
Is he got his own website or something now? Is that where the?
No, he's doing. He's still doing YouTube and stuff. And I mean, I guess it's just a different. He's managed to cultivate a new audience. That watches his stuff.
I used to. I don't know. I used to watch it all the time, and then it just. I guess the algorithm decided that I didn't like it anymore. Before
Yeah, the algorithm decided that you know
what's probably scary about that? It's right.
I know it. It's like
it knows.
I was like, I don't know. I just there's like several guys like that. I thought, well, they must have. What's his name? The dude from Arizona, Spoonie or something like that. I used to watch.
Spoonie did like stop, like So yeah, he. I don't think he's made a movie or I don't think he's made a video in years. So yeah, he like, but he blew up. He kind of. He self-destructed. Yeah.
The best thing that, for my money, that Nostalgia Creek ever did was the one about the thing or the It miniseries. God damn, that was so funny.
Yeah, with the balloon. He wrote balloon in blood. Yeah, I mean, you can't fault the dude. I mean, he really, like, even if you don't like him, people know who he is. So. Yeah,
just like
we get millions of non-views. Is that
just like? Hey, even if you don't like him, you know who he is. Just like Adolf Hitler,
I thought when it comes to views on live streams, I thought it was like golf, where the lower the number, the better.
It is. That's how it works.
We're winning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at his analytics. 1.3 million subscribers and 6.7 million views in the past month. So
he's almost big enough for us to invite him on our show.
Yeah, he's
I don't like the way you laughed at that. By the way, I did not like that.
I was just kind of giving you a little self.
We know you think you're slumming, Cecil. We know you're not fooling anybody.
Let me tell you, it didn't come out the way you intended. It come out more like, oh.
That's so cute.
Look, I don't know what more you want. I came back again. All right. Can you delete the pictures already? Can you?
I'm just gonna look. I've just been looking through some of Matt's ones because obviously Matt can't join us today. But I mean, he's got here just to mention a couple of them. Did we talk about signs before we started? I mean, in signs when they're watching the videotape footage and the alien walks past. When he's wearing his tin hat, and again he's like, and of course everybody's going at the same time. Is a great one. The other one
that is a really good scene. That is a great scene.
It is.
Did you ever hear?
It's a decent.
Did you ever hear the demon theory?
No.
That they're not aliens; they're demons. And it makes so much more sense because if you watch the movie, like they're splashing through like puddles of water and whatnot, but then the water that affects them is the holy water.
Yeah, but they say on the radio broadcast though that they don't.
Well, they like. I mean, but they say we've gotten the way to defeat them, but they don't specifically say use what. So it's like the way, like it's very ambiguous. It's actually really interesting if you go back and watch it as like the fact that they're demons and not aliens, that they're coming to Earth they're coming like it really changes
from a hellmouth.
Essentially it changes your perspective on the film, and the way that there is such a religious angle to the film. It makes it really does change like the way that it's perceived, and right?
No. I mean, you mark your landing zone. Like it's not.
You mark your landing zone with a circle. You don't do a big origami nonsense.
I'm just saying, as they're flying over, they're looking down and sort of saying, it looks like this planet's in full of idiots. Don't bother.
You got such a smooth little brain. You don't understand how alien thinking. You got to think 4-dimensionally, like in Crystal Skull.
Can I just mention this is a really terrible film, but I think it was Scary
Yes,
Movie
Crystal Skull
3.
is a real terrible film.
They were, but in Scary Movie 3, they were taking the mick out of that scene when Mel Gibson goes to see his wife, who's crushed against the tree, and in Scary Movie 3, I think it was Charlie Sheen, and he's walking up to his wife, who's trapped against this tree, and the driver, they've got this Indian guy who looks like M. Night Shyamalan, and he just looks up to Charlie Sheen saying, "Oh, dude, can I have a ride home because my car's wrecked?" Every time I think of the signs, I just think of that one scene where she's like, "Oh, can I get a lift home?"
I kind of will piggyback on that. That Scary Movie 3 is not a good movie. However, there were a few good laughs in that. I did belly laugh when they were doing their goof on the aliens, like the footage where it was like they would see. They would have like film going on and then an alien would walk by. And so there's just like dogs fucking and an alien walks by and it makes like this goofy, dude, it's so dumb, but I howled laughing at how dumb it was.
I bet your wife loves that movie.
She's with me on it too. She thinks that like that shit was funny, but the movie itself was not particularly funny.
Is that those Salzburg and those guys that did all those different date movie and epic movie and all that crap?
They're not.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have some laughs in them, but it's not worth the hour and a half.
Right, if you could condense them down to just the moments,
just
like genuinely funny.
Yeah.
Another one of Matt, just to mention here, and again, sort of getting down that real route, was the beach scene in Saving Private Ryan, which again is quite scary to know that guys went through that.
Yeah.
The part that always got it for me is the guy that bends over and picks up his own blown off arm. Yeah, that's probably that's pretty intense.
He's not sure what's going on, and it's like, is that my arm? Yeah, that's my arm.
He's just so he's like shell shocked completely. He's like in shock, trauma, and just not thinking because it's such a bad,
But just
what's it?
Yeah, and then the one a little bit later where the guy's shoving the knife. Very slow. He's going. Shh.
No.
Yeah. It's just. It's so uncomfortable.
Do you know what he's saying to him? He's saying, "Just be still. It'll be over in a second. It'll be over." That's what he's saying to him.
Yeah.
In German.
In German, yeah. So freaking rough.
All the time in these movies, they always have the Germans as the bad guys.
I know it. It's so weird.
The scene that always the arm scene, since you're taking that one from me, Sean, I'll have to pick another one. But the when he's like, they keep shifting the camera, but they're all leaning against the hill, and he says, "Call this guy did," and he leans back and the camera keeps and then finally they shift out, the guy's head is all caved in and exploded. Just like, oh well, shit! I get no point in talking to him anymore, and they just have to keep going on. It's like, it's so horrific,
Yeah. Again, sorry, just looking at Matt's list, a couple of other movies we haven't mentioned. We haven't mentioned The Shining, but he's also got there as well the American Werewolf in London, the change scene.
I never found any. That never did. Nothing in that movie ever really scared me or made me feel.
Not even the double take on the sort of the dream sequence, because that was actually quite clever. It was a dream sequence, but then that was a dream sequence.
It's entertaining, but it doesn't. It's like The Shining. The Shining. Nothing in it have I ever been like, ooh. Yeah, I don't know.
I think The Shining has been parodied so much that it doesn't have quite the punch that it used to.
Yeah, that is true.
There's some.
The little girls still get me when he's riding around and just the two little girls stood there. That's still freaky.
Yeah.
Well,
I always worry that there's going to be two little girls stood in the street somewhere, and if they just stand like that, I'm just going to punch them. Get back to hell, you demon spawn!
I don't think anybody parodied it better than The Simpsons when she goes up to the typewriter and it's like, this will be a window into his madness. Feeling fine. Okay. And then the lightning goes off. He's written all over the walls, no TV and no beer, make Homer go crazy. Oh, this is less encouraging.
The best episodes of The Simpsons has always been the Treehouse of Horror episodes.
Yeah, that's when they're having the most fun.
Yeah, because
The
no
ones in the
rules.
90s, anyway.
Yeah, well, of course, you know.
The Nightmare on Elm Street, I would say the two scenes where the girl up against the ceiling, just being floated around, carved up in the bedroom. And I freak out when his arms are like really, really wide for some reason. At least the first time I saw it.
Coming directly from Robert Englund, he said that over the years, the people, he says, him with his arms out, touching the two, sides and the sparks going off. He's like, that's been the one scene that, out of everything, that people have always come up and told him that was the scariest thing. So you're not alone.
Him getting sucked into
think it's maybe kind of the idea of just engulfing. Like there's no getting around him. He's going to. There's no. It gives you a sense of no escape, and I think that's why.
Yeah, you just know that it's impossible. There's just something. It just looks weird, and I think you're onto something there. But it's a combination of things why it works so well.
I saw the TV version where they dubbed him saying, "I caught a fish this big." That took the edge off.
And the funniest scene in the movie is turning Johnny Depp into a blood geyser.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the scene that got me in that one as a kid.
It was scary then. It just has a lot of humor now, I think.
Well, my personal favorite thing, the unintentional humor of that is when like he basically erupts him into a geyser of blood, and then the cops are there and they're like, oh, another suicide. It's like what?
It's like that old joke is like the cops found the guy that nobody liked shot 17 times in the back of the head. It's like cops said worst case of suicide they ever saw.
Another one of those damn kids has got into that life-size blender again. Damn it.
Yeah.
Don't do
somehow.
He must have had
ate a grenade.
He had premarital. He must have had premarital sex, boys. This is what happened.
Like he took a lot of pills.
Yeah,
he's a fine red mist. What are you talking about?
That is a crazy. Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is full of some really weird stuff too.
That's when they started to embrace the sort of kills and make them more fun and stuff.
No, I think you're confusing that with 3.
No,
yeah, 3 was the one where they basically I don't want to say
Warriors,
like saved the franchise, but really like brought about like much. It's kind of funny that like with Friday the 13th and then Nightmare on Elm Street, both part 3s are the ones that solidified what the series would be about moving forward. 3 with Friday the 13th was with the hockey mask and the brutal kills more so. And then with Nightmare on Elm Street 3, it was a little bit more of Freddy's humor, and it was like his powers and abilities, and they kind of laid him out a little bit more of what he could and couldn't do. And they followed that template, with both of those. So it was just kind of odd that. And then Halloween 3, we had Season of the Witch, which which I adore.
It's still a
no,
good
I
movie.
adore it. I think it
is solid,
Halloween
but it's
after Halloween 1.
Yeah.
But it's just such a weird departure of the whole franchise. It was just
definitely didn't solidify the series.
Exactly.
Which is a shame, really, because I mean, the idea of masks killing kids off was a good idea.
It's a good movie though, man. It really
it's a very good movie.
Yeah.
I think
it is a good movie.
If it was like now, it's kind of gotten the recognition it deserves. But back then, everybody hated it because I really think like if it came out and it was instead of Halloween 3, if it was simply called Season of the Witch, I know I'm not the first person to say this, but if it was Season of the Witch, I think it would have been appreciated all the way back then, as opposed to not really getting the appreciation until recent years.
Or maybe even Halloween 2, it might have gotten away with it.
Well, that was the whole intention, was that it was supposed to Halloween each year they were going to have a Halloween movie, and it was going to be it was going to basically be an anthology series. Michael Myers was really only supposed to be the boogeyman in one movie, but he was so popular that they were like, so that was why like if they had done Halloween 3 as Halloween 2 again, this series, we wouldn't have what we have today, and
could you imagine
better or worse.
if we'd had an anthology series franchise, man, how great that would have been. Trick or Treat kind of.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the closest we've got to that is probably VHS.
Mm-hmm.
Which VHS ones?
VHS 2 is the one that spun off the that movie. What was it, Siren, or what is the name of that one, Cecil? Where the about the chick that steals the guy.
Yeah. Well, the first one. Well, it was God, whatever the first one was. It was
Succubus.
Something. Yeah, it was the Succubus, and then they did the full movie Siren, which is actually really good.
I remember you were telling me about that when it first came out, because there's a famous castration scene in that where she just rips a dude's junk off, and I remember Cecil was like, "Oh, it's really good," and I said, "Dude, does it have that castration in it?" And he's like, "No." It's like, okay.
Yeah, in that they didn't do it, but yeah, in the short, yeah, they oof. But I actually reached out to Hannah Fireberg, and was just like, hey, I was like, you really did an amazing job on that. I was like, 'cause she's so, like, she's actually really pretty in like normal life, but like her, and they made her up, so like made her eyes look weird, and it like she plays it very, very childlike.
It's great.
But creepy. Yeah, it's legit good. Yeah.
I'll tell you another good one that's underappreciated, and I think Cecil will agree with me on this, and I'm sorry that I've completely forgot the name of it. But the one where the three friends are trapped on the ski lift, and it goes
Frozen.
Frozen.
Yeah.
Do you want to build a snowman? No, wait, not that one, is it?
No, not that one.
Cecil, you said that the Nightmare on Elm Street and the Friday the 13th, they both solidified what they were in number 3. And I don't disagree with that, but I also feel like the first ones of those movies were legit scary. Once they solidified it, to me, they ceased to become scary, the subsequent ones, even though they had found the formula and everybody seemed to love it. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that like they became more roller coasters as opposed to like horror houses. So part 1 of both Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street are both legit scary, and then 2 is like the weird follow up, but still good. I think Friday the 13th kind of does it better than Nightmare on Elm Street on part 2, and then 3 they found the formula, and I do think that each subsequent sequel does have scary moments in it, but not quite the dread of the original films. It's like, especially with the Nightmare on Elm Streets, where like they kind of turned Freddy almost into like a comedian, and he needed
a pedophile child killer comedian.
Yeah, exactly, a pedophile child killer comedian. But they needed a rim shot, after every one liner. Whereas part of the beauty of that was just Jason was just silent, so he couldn't really, he just would stand there and would just mess somebody up. So
he becomes sort of like a superhero by like part 5 or 6 anyway, which I like.
He basically becomes the indestructible spirit of vengeance, and just no matter what you do, you're not going to end him. And I kind of did like that, because it's like, all right, well, he is going to mess you up regardless, unless you shoot him with a freaking rocket launcher. And then we saw, with part 9 where they kind of went off the plan, they kind of went off with that.
What are you talking about? There's only 8 of them. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they stopped it. I don't know. Well, they 8 and then 10 I think is really great fan service, and then 11 with Freddy versus Jason was just I think it was great, because that's kind of the thing we most likely will never get again, unless we keep getting all these conglomerated
especially since the remake from 2009 wasn't too bad considering. I didn't think.
I think they had their heart in the right place with the remake, but they didn't have the right director for it. Because
I really want to see a remake of Jason Takes Vancouver. Oh, I'm sorry, Manhattan.
Yeah, they had the name of that before they had their budget, unfortunately, and I still like Jason Takes Manhattan, But yeah, it is kind of a bummer that he's really only in it, like in New York for like the one scene, and then everything else.
Most of it like on a boat or something? It's been so long since I've seen it.
They spend more time going there than they do actually being there.
Yeah, they're on the boat for like an hour, and then they're like a little bit of time, and then I think they're really only in New York for like one scene, and then everything else is Vancouver, and then it's but I mean it's only really maybe 20 minutes of actual him in quote unquote New York. So it's a bummer, but you know, hey, they didn't have they got in trouble for the they had the Jason New York poster, which was awesome. Instead of the I Heart New York, they had the hockey mask coming through. Like
yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that was the summer. That was the summer of sequels. '89. That should have been a slam dunk if they had just, put them in Manhattan, let them carve up people. That's all you had to do.
Well, they didn't have the budget because the shooting in New York is insane.
That's probably what it was. But it's like you had all those great sequels. It was like that was a huge movie year. If you tanked that year, you were doing something pretty wrong.
Well, what was the other great sequels that year?
Indiana Jones, Last Crusade, Lethal Weapon 2.
Oh yeah, Lethal Weapon 2 did. He's black, but you're black.
What's your black?
Free African now, you dumb son of a bitch.
You dumb son of a bitch.
Even Ghostbusters 2, I think, is a little underrated.
Oh, I love Ghostbusters.
I love Ghostbusters too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anybody that says it's a bad movie is dead to me.
I know it was the summer of especially after what we've gotten since
Let me tell you, the best part of Ghostbusters 2 is when Bill Murray's there taking pictures of the paint. Show me angry. Show me, yeah, destroy me. That never fails to crack me up every. And then,
I like that.
And Harold Ramis comes over and goes, "We need to talk."
I like that Bill Murray worked it out so he's like never in the damn uniform, but he never has to get any slime on him or anything.
Yeah.
It's clear that somebody rewrote that contract.
I've got a theory that Dana's kid in the second one is the product between the keymaster and the gatekeeper getting it on in the first movie, and then she just doesn't want to admit that Rick Moranis is who knocked her up.
They just need to do a new movie where he has glasses on.
Oh, for some reason, everybody's just suddenly dropped out.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why. Which is annoyingly, usually I've got access to this because my computer's down. I've had to use a different one. So hopefully Yoda can get back in.
Yes.
I wonder what happened.
Well, there's Sean.
Wow,
that was scary.
Well, that also...
they're
talking about Ghostbusters too.
And...
So
just a quick aside. Not that I don't enjoy chatting with you guys, but how much longer are we going for?
Oh, we're
really need to wrap it up.
Yeah.
We keep it about 2 hours, so we've gone a little over.
My feet pics that I had to send to Cecil for bribery only goes so. That's only 2 hours.
I've
done my 2 hours. I want to go.
Look, I did my obligated time.
Just keep a few pictures on the side. Maybe he'll pimp us for once.
Cecil, thank you for coming on and doing us a big favor this week, man.
Yeah,
I always have fun talking to you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, all right,
anytime.
Believe me, I could keep going if I didn't have hungry family upstairs. So
sorry. No.
I hear you.
A lot of the films we talked about are a blueprint for how to get rid of them.
Yes. No, but I like them. I like that.
Right, okay, fair enough. You're on your own then.
Phil, you get quite a big tax break here with wife and kids. He's not going. What, are you crazy?
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Right,
Yeah.
okay, right.
But if you get tired of them, you saw her ready. Just crack the window.
Yeah, wheel a little close to the telephone poles.
There you go. They'll take care.
Yep.
Nature will take care of itself.
Everybody, be sure to watch and subscribe to Cecil's channel. Good Bad Films, I believe it's called.
What?
I've been practicing all week and making sure I say Cecil a good bad flicks all week, and then
dead to me, Sean.
I'm so. It was a. Hey, that was a deep callback to last time when this moron over here got it wrong.
Oh God, really?
And then I put in the Slack chat today. I put where is it? Something about Sean, which I spelt your name wrong, and I said with his friend Cyril from Bad Good Movies. Stupidly, today I've been saying Cyril, and it's like, no, it's not Cyril. Don't say Cyril. So yeah, no, that was completely my fault, and it was me being a complete and utter moron, as Sean will testify on several occasions.
Yeah,
It's all good.
Well, thank you very much, Cecil,
thanks,
for
man.
joining us from Good Bad Fucks. Oh, that font!
I get that a lot too.
It's always a pleasure, and it's always good to get somebody from outside our little group to kind of inject some new ideas or talk about things that we hadn't before. We tend to sometimes get in our little niches, and
thank you for lowering yourself to come down. Thanks for degrading yourself and your brand.
Don't tell me what.
There is a link.
There is a link.
There is a link below because I actually put a link up to Good Bad Flicks in the description, so you can subscribe to him there.
That's right. So like, share, subscribe, and and I catch your stuff all the time. I never miss it. So
why don't you like?
It.
I just want to know how come you don't like Santa Claus? It's only
and the Tree Stooges.
Yes.
No, it's isn't it the Santa Claus?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, well, it sounds like we're getting into some sort of religious war here. So I'm going to.
Yeah, Cecil, you can go. We'll wrap it up if you want to go ahead and go, Cecil.
All right, thanks, you guys. I gotta roll.
Take care, man.
Thanks for having me. Have a good night.
Thanks.
And for those of you still watching,
finally, now the big brain.
Now
the big brain.
I've got 750,000 viewers.
Oh, look at me with the big.
I don't know why he does so well. Now let's complain about She-Hulk for another 3 hours.
Another thing about Star Wars.
Yeah,
he's very, very kind to humiliate himself by coming on our channel.
I don't disagree with that at all. So let's go ahead and wrap this up before we humiliate ourselves any more than we already have. This has been another wonderful, fine live stream from lastmovieoutpost.com, where we have all the latest in movie news, streaming news, and everything cool about film. You can find us. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and put up the banner here, which we never did. Lastmovieoutpost.com. Our Twitter is @MovieOutpost. You can find the bearded one @MobaFilm, myself @DrunkenYoda1. You can find us on Facebook /LastMovieOutpost and Instagram @LastMovieOutpost. Please like, share, subscribe. Hit that like button, smash it, lightly click it, whatever works for you. We would very much appreciate it because it really helps us on the algorithm. And please do share us out. Talk to your friends. Let people know we're out here.
And subscribe to Cecil. You're missing out if you're not on his channel. If you're not watching his channel.
Absolutely,
really his stuff is great. It's brilliant.
Yep, I've been watching him since it's got to be at least 10 years now. And
I think I've been watching since 2014.
Yeah, I love his stuff from the what happened to PG-13 and what happened to movie posters and things like that.
You know what?
Stuff on there. It's
I
really
wish we. I'll ask him later, but I wish we'd had time to ask him about if he was going to do a follow up to G4 TV since they're falling apart.
Oh yeah, they've gone completely tits up, haven't they?
Yeah. He made a great video of the channel, and then the original channel, and then now
a subscriber of his for ages.
36 seconds.
What time is it now?
No, he's great. Like I say, his stuff is brilliant. He's a wealth of information. The guy's like an encyclopedia. He's brilliant.
Yep, and definitely the documentaries that he's been a part of, In Search of Darkness, parts 1, 2, and 3 is coming out soon. I suggest we all give it a look-see. I also dearly loved In Search of Tomorrow and In Search of the Last Action Hero. They're both great. Really well done pieces of film history that kind of lightly touches on a lot of different movies.
The good stuff. The stuff that we like, not the
80s.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, and not just like the Casablanca, and you know what I mean. It's
No.
stuff that
Not
guys
the
like
master class stuff.
not masterclass stuff.
Never
Your
going to
time-
hear the end
your
of that,
time-
are you?
Your time will come, Phil. Your time will come.
Oh, I think it has, and we are making the most of it.
Yeah, this is the most you're ever going to hope for. I'm sorry.
I watched that clip, after I cut up, and they just keep appearing in my feed. And I watched that last clip where we did the master class, and it was funnier the second time.
Was it really? I didn't.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, we really shredded the poor guy, didn't we?
We really belittled him to hell, man. That was great. He probably almost committed suicide over that.
Yeah, we better get him on suicide watch. It's not good.
Just a few more weeks, Phil. Just a few more weeks.
I've got a gun and a passport. I'm coming.
Well, no, I haven't got the gun. I'm going to get one when I get over there.
Yeah, you gotta wait to
Sean,
get over here.
Let me see your gun collection.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Safety, idiot.
Bam!
You can't.
Ow, my foot.
Oh, we
okay.
love you, Phil. We love everybody, except for Matt, who didn't bother to show up because of a tiny little cough.
I think
it was interesting that
Sean
Sean brought up the masterclass on his chat the other day.
Yeah. You're welcome for that, by the way.
I'm going to copyright it.
Uh-oh.
All right, gents. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and we will see you on the next stream.